Hey, what's going on, Who That Nation? It is yours truly, TJ Jones, the host. And I got the co-host. We got Packy, the host of the State of the Saints podcast. Thank you very much for checking out the Wildcard edition of the State of the Saints podcast. And I do apologize, ladies and gentlemen. I don't have a background or anything like that. Some of you probably know I just moved to my new home, and that's the reason I've kind of been MIA for the last couple of days doing videos, and I appreciate you all for bearing with me. The New Orleans Saints have a big, tall task today. Okay, they got a big, tall task. Wild card game versus the Chicago Bears. The Saints are a 9-point favorite in this game. But we all know in the Who That Nation, when it comes to the postseason, that means absolutely nothing. That means absolutely nothing. And the New Orleans Saints have to handle up on business. The Saints, they get some help back. Michael Thomas will be active in this game, alongside Alvin Kamara, who missed a few games due to COVID-19. And, you also got CD Deuce coming back. And the Saints seem like they're getting healthy at the right time to make a postseason run. I know everybody has heard the news and read the sources about this possibly being Drew Brees' last season. This is Drew Brees' last hurrah. I mean, I believe that wholeheartedly. And I think that the New Orleans Saints have to make sure that number 9 goes out on top. The Saints defensively, I think that they should be ready for the Chicago Bears. They're going to be missing Trey Hendrickson, which is huge. We know he led the team in sacks, and he was about ranked number 2 or 3 in sacks in the entire NFL. So when you're missing someone like Trey Hendrickson, that is a huge loss. But defensively, I think the Saints will be able to match up with the Chicago Bears. What the Chicago Bears do well is they try to run the football with David Montgomery. And, that's been being successful to him, and I can remember a couple weeks back when the Saints played the Chicago Bears, David Montgomery, he rushed for over 89 yards. Okay. So it's not like David Montgomery can't rush the football. And it's also to set up the play action with Mitchell Trubisky, which he has been doing pretty well. The Chicago Bears defensively, they will be without Roquan Smith. We know that he is a sideline linebacker. He is a guy that can be a force, but that doesn't mean that they don't have guys in place that can get to the quarterback. Okay, Akeem Hicks, who I mentioned several times here on the State of the Saints podcast, he has an axe to grind with the New Orleans Saints organization, and you can tell every time that he plays extra motivated when he goes up against the Saints. You can tell he didn't like the way Sean Payton handled him. He didn't like the way that Sean Payton got him out of town due to some comments he made in the locker room. So he has an axe to grind. So I think he's going to be motivated. And I think he is one of those guys that can get success. We know that the Saints are very vulnerable up the middle. When you got a young guy like Cesar Ruiz, Andrews Pete sometimes, that is a recipe for disaster at times. But so Akeem Hicks can get pressure on the quarterback. And you also have some of the secondary players. These guys are very disciplined. They're not household names or anything like that, but they can, get the job done defensively. So what the Saints are going to have to do offensively, they're going to have to try to get the ball out of Drew Brees' hands. And that's rather doing 3-step drops or running the football with Latavius Murray and Alvin Kamara. I don't think you should put everything on Drew Brees in this game. I still think that Drew Brees is still healing from the ribs. I don't care how many games he's played. It takes a while for your ribs to completely heal. So he is getting a tad bit better and a little bit more healthier every single day. But you have to make sure that you're taking care of number 9. And the Saints have to run the football. That is why it's imperative that the New Orleans Saints start strong. You have to start strong in this game. Stop lollygagging, pussyfooting around, and trying to keep the Chicago Bears in this game. They already know that they are underdogs. So if you are keeping these guys in the game around the 3rd or the 4th quarter, they're going to start to get confidence, okay? The best thing for you to do is to start strong. That is why I need to put a lot of pressure on Sean Payton as the play caller and Drew Brees executing the plays. Look, we in the Who That Nation. I'm just going to address the elephant in the room. We are sick and tired of watching teams that are very good, like the New Orleans Saints teams have been over the past few years, and get absolutely nothing in return. Okay, I understand that these guys are prideful, and I guarantee you when they lose, it doesn't hurt us more than it hurt them. But they have the team to go all the way. This is the time. This is the moment. Okay, you're not going to have opportunities like this again and again. When you put yourself in this type of position, you have to make sure that you take advantage of it. And the New Orleans Saints, on paper, are a better football team than Chicago Bears. I don't want to hear anything about the Chicago Bears. You know what I'm saying? They can do this and that well. No, absolutely not. And I definitely don't want to hear anything about the Chicago Bears forced overtime against the New Orleans Saints. The Saints had so many starters out of that game. The only offensive weapon they really truly had was Alvin Kamara. So the fact that the Saints were even in that game with all of those offensive weapons out, it's just nothing short of a miracle. I'm just going to be real with you. It was nothing short of a miracle. So the New Orleans Saints have got to get the job done. There's absolutely no more excuses for this. You got all of your weapons on deck. For the exception of Trey Hendrickson, you have a complete team. So Drew Brees has all his weapons to throw the ball to. You got Michael Thomas. You got Emmanuel Sanders. You got Alvin Kamara. You got Marquez Callaway. You got Jared Cook, Adam Troutman. The list goes on and on. Defensively, you got Patrick Robinson back. You got DJ Swearinger. You got Marcus Williams coming back. You got Lattimore and Jenkins. All hands are on deck. The Saints have to stay focused, and they have to make sure that they stay on top of the Chicago Bears. Offensively, I'm looking for Michael Thomas to be productive in this game. Okay, the Saints put him on ice for a couple weeks, put him on IR so he can be healthy for this playoff run. I think that was a smart move by the New Orleans Saints. They understood that they had what it took to win the games that they needed to win in order for them to make a run. I think the Saints made a smart decision. They understood that, you know, going on the road, going at home is probably like the same environment because there aren't any fans in the stands. So you don't really have to worry about that dynamic. So they decided to sit Michael Thomas down. So Michael Thomas should be close to 100% coming into the postseason. Also, Deontay Harris, somebody I didn't mention, a guy that can flip the field, a guy that can kill you on special teams. And also, when you're doing those wide receiver screens or you're doing some of those jet sweeps, this is a guy that you can line up in the backfield. Taysom Hill, who was dealing with a concussion, and he went through protocol this week. He is going to be playing in this game. So you also have Taysom Hill that you can line up and do some things differently. All hands on deck. I keep saying that, but all hands on deck. I want the Saints to come out here and flex their muscle against the Chicago Bears and don't give this team hope, okay? I understand they got Allen Robinson. I understand they got Jimmy Graham and crew, Wims. I understand they got Montgomery. Look, but the Saints are a better football team. And when you're a better football team, you got to win this game. And I hear people talking about, you know, going on to the next round or anything like this. Let's focus on that, okay? Let's focus on that, you know, if we get there, okay? I'm saying if. But I must say, you know, I do this show. I'm a podcaster. I'm a broadcaster, you know, but at the same time, I'm a fan. And I think I'm speaking for every fan out there when I say we're tired of the disappointment. Let's get the job done. Everything that you've done in the all season and in a regular season got you to this point, okay? And there is no other team out there that I feel in the NFC. If they're being more disciplined, if they're being, you know what I'm saying, if their offense is clicking on all cylinders, I still feel like they don't have the team like the New Orleans Saints do. Also, what I'm looking for in this game is like every single game I've seen in the postseason. I've seen referees letting these guys play, all right? I don't want to see a whole bunch of flags flying all over the place. I watched at least about 3 games, okay? Well, I won't say I watched, but I was listening as I was moving different items, okay? What I seen and what I heard, okay, in little glimpses was the referees let these guys play, all right? So I don't want to see a whole bunch of flags all over the place, stopping the game, the referees being the MVP, trying to get some cameo time. Bump all that, okay? Let these guys play. Let these guys be physical. Everything that they've done led to this moment for them to be in a postseason. Don't be the deciding factor, okay? That's what I need from the referees. Keep that same energy I've seen in all these other postseason games I watched on television, all right? All right, so all I'm saying is I just want I just want a game where let the best team win. I'm not too concerned about the Saints, not having a home crowd. They like to say those things about the Saints. They can't win. You know what I'm saying? They ain't got no crowd. It's the loud. It's the Superdome. Look, the Saints can win. Rather 3,000 fans in the stands, 63,000 fans in the stands. This is a good football team. So I want this team to go out there, win this football game, man. Do it for the Who Dat Nation, the ones that been riding with y'all over the last couple of years and have been dealing with this heartbreak when we know for a fact that you all were the better team going into some of these games. And also, if this is Drew Brees' last season, like I said, I know a lot of people get mad at me for saying this, but this is career-defining stuff right here, okay? If you can't get over the hump in a postseason, if you're losing to people like Case Keenum and Jared Goff and Alex Smith, you know what I'm saying, and people like that, and that's on your resume, people going to start raising eyebrows when they start talking about your legacy. It's not like, you losing to the creme de la creme in the postseason, all right? You're losing to guys that are, average or bottom of the barrel type quarterbacks. I mean, last time we seen Jared Goff, even though he's been dealing with a thumb injury, I mean, he ain't been looking good this season. Case Keenum can't get a starting job. I mean, and Mitchell Trubisky, they ain't even pick up his 50 option, so we don't even know if he's going to come back to the Chicago Bears. When you're going up against teams like that and these teams end up beating you, when people start talking about who are the greatest quarterbacks of all time, who are the greatest coach-quarterback combination of all time, that's how your name goes to the back of the line. And I don't make the rules. I know some people will say, well, these guys aren't playing against each other. It's the defenses, whatever. You know what I'm saying? We all know how the media works. I don't make the rules. All right? All I know is when they talk about these teams, they say Patrick Mahomes versus Drew Brees or Tom Brady versus Drew Brees. That's what they say, all right? And that's how it's going to be remembered. So that's the way I look at it. And hopefully the Saints can move on to take on the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. And, I hear people talking about, I'm so nervous about the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. It's hard to beat a team 3 times. Like, do people even understand what they're saying? Like, do y'all even look into some of the things that you're saying? Do you do your research, or do you just look at the sports shows and they just tell you that and you just run with it? Okay, so let me give you some facts here. Okay, let me give you something that I actually researched since the merger. Okay, since the NFL AFL merger. All right, there have been 21 times where teams have played each other 3 times in the season. Out of those 21 times, the team that has won the game and swept the team, it has been done 14 times. So if you're worried about the New Orleans Saints possibly slipping up in the next round, all right, the numbers of a team going up against another team and getting the clean sweep is 67%. All right. So out of 21 times, teams have been swept 14 of those 21 times. So I don't know what anybody is thinking. I don't know what you're thinking when you say, it's hard to beat a team 3 times because, the statistics show otherwise. So that's another story for another day. The Saints have to get over the hump in the Chicago Bears game. I'm looking forward to watching a fun game, an exciting game. Hopefully, I don't have to go to the pharmacy and get any heart medication or blood pressure pills or nothing like that. And hopefully, I don't be ticked off, you know what I'm saying, at the end of this game because, Lord knows, man, we didn't have our fair share. But I would love to hear from you, man. What do you think about this game, the Saints versus Chicago Bears? Comment down below, like and share this video. This has been a Wildcard pregame edition of the State of the Saints podcast. Thank you so much for tuning in. Subscribe to the YouTube channel, youtube.com, search The State of the Saints podcast, facebook.com, search The State of the Saints podcast. Previous episodes available on iTunes, Spotify, iHeartRadio, and Anchor FM. Until next time, all I got to say is